Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Healing Within number 18. This evening we will be talking to Joan Carpenter she's got a number of things that she's from, so we will discuss that when she comes on. I'd like to apologise for the other week as we had Lisa Drury on, and unfortunately we had a lot of technical difficulties. And this week I got technical difficulties because the camera that I'm working with is on the computer and the other one doesn't want to work. So I'm having no end of fun with this new broadcasting session. To go with that, hi Roz, how are you, love? Good to have you on board. I'm just going through the process at the moment of trying to get everything up and running yet again. This is just so much fun. Please share with friends and family if you can. We love to bring these people on, but it's not much fun. Is there an echo? Not that I'm aware of. If there is, Roz, I haven't heard it on my end. So I'm sorry if there is, but it might well be combat between the Logitech and the computer. As I say, feel free to share. We also have, yeah, it could be that too. Hang on, I'll close a couple of the tabs in the background and see if that makes a difference. Let me know if that makes a difference. I've closed everybody off. Feel free to ask questions of our guest when she comes on. You're more than welcome to do that. Now, I run Moon and Mask, and it doesn't seem to want to write Moon and Mask. I don't know why that is. And I'll just check out the tape. Oh, no, it's there. There we go. It's scrolling up. It's a bit slow. That's all. I run Moon and Mask. I also do spiritual and wellness fairs. I'd like to think that I could mute the microphone there, Roz, but the problem being that at the moment both of them are on. One is on sound and one is not, and I really don't want to play with it any further. Crikey, Joan, you've already got a crowd waiting for you, so it won't be long. You can also find me, if you're interested in coming on as a guest, you're more than welcome. Just contact me either through Moon and Mask or at roy@moonandmask.com.au, and I will certainly put you on our shortlist. Good evening, Cherie. No echo on your end. Well, that's good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sick of talking to myself. So what I'm going to do is get Joan up into the main area and we will have a bit of a chinwag about what's going on in Joan's area of expertise. Hello, Joan.
Roy.
Now, as you can see, people, I have a camera which is blurry. This is for a particular reason, only because I'm so good looking, I have to keep myself well under control. And I like to see that Joan has the better camera and is much better looking than I am. So, yeah, mutual admiration society. Oh, excuse me. So, how have you been?
I was having problems with my hair. Obviously, I still do. It's the mirror thing with the camera. Oh, anyway, we'll just forget about it, will we?
Yeah. Just brush it back and hope to God everything goes well. You've already got a couple of people here who are commenting to you. One is for Roz. She says, "Hi, Roy and Joan." Thank you very much, Roz. And we have one here from Lily who says, "Happy to see the divine Joan Carpenter." Yeah, see, nice you must be. How much are you paying these people to help you out like this?
I'll tell you later, right? We share secrets.
Now let's get down to the serious end of the evening. Now I know that just to start it out, Joan, you do listening hands therapy. Perhaps if you could just give people a bit of a build up on what that is, and then once we get through that, we'll take it on to the next level and see what we can learn from that.
Oh, thank you, Roy, and thank you for this generous opportunity too. It is really nice to share our work because otherwise people don't know you're there. And he's a very clever boy. You guys seeing all this happening on the screen? Yeah, so thank you, Roy. I do appreciate being here and being able to talk a bit about my work because I love helping people, and I've been doing it a long time. And, you know, there's always more people to connect with. And if I can't help you, I will probably know somebody that can help you. And that's what I love. I love networking as well. What does Lily say? Nothing but genuine love here, Roy. Haha. Yeah, exactly. So listening hands therapy comes out of my work as a massage and craniosacral therapist that also has trained in my fascial. So probably for about 13 years or something, I've been calling my work that. It's really the craniosacral that took me into that space when I started realizing that when I stopped doing to the body with the techniques I'd learned in my diploma remedial massage, that something different was going on in my hands, and that the people were benefiting in different ways through me listening to the body rather than listening to my, you know, list of protocols and techniques. And that gave me a sense of freedom that I could just be present to the body, to what I was feeling into my hands, and to go with it. So I draw from the cranial, massage, and my fascia release, which you may not know what some of those mean. I can briefly tell you, to be able to give a treatment that is, you know, really where you're at on the day. So, you know, I say to people, sometimes people come to me and they'll have neck and shoulder issues, but it's actually their life or their job that's giving them the problem. And so when they're on the table, because I like to create a space that's conducive to relaxation and for them to be with their body and have more of an inner awareness, that it allows things to bubble up, like how much they hate their work, or, you know, what's not really going well for them in their life, or, you know, they really get to be with themselves for all that time that they're on the table. And sometimes they get an insight. So they leave with more than having their body worked on. They left after having an hour or more on the table of being with themselves, being aware of what's going on in their body. And sometimes when they get off the table, you know, they're not jumping with vitality. They're actually really tired, and it's because they are. So when we're stopped and allowed to really be present to how we are, there's no running from it. And then we have a choice. Either we keep doing what we're doing, which is towards exhaustion, or we make some changes. And then that's the conversation about, you know, maybe more treatments, or maybe seeing someone else, or maybe just going for a walk on a regular basis. So I really think that when people come to me, that I listen with my ears, my head, my heart, and my hands. And I love that. I love being able to be available for people. So, and craniosacral is really about, it's too hard to put it in a nutshell. I'd say if you want to know more about craniosacral, you can either Google it, or you can message me through the Listening Hands Therapy page, and we can make a time and I can talk to you about it, because it's gentle and effective, it's holistic, and it meets the individual on all the levels: the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, yeah, the whole package.
Anybody that's out there, I've been up to the I believe she calls it the Farm for Wellness, and I've had one of these lovely experiences with Joan, and believe me, if you have not had this opportunity, you need to take a quick trip up into the hills and make sure that you experience this, because it changed a heck of a lot for me in a very short period of time. Now on to my next question there, Joan, and that is from so much to the Listening Hands, but where you're actually situated, because you're up around Mount Barker and people might want to know sort of the areas they need to travel to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so a year ago, my partner and I bought a 23-acre bushland property, which we've called the Farm for Wellbeing, and it's situated between Mount Barker and Macclesfield. It's about 7 minutes out of Mount Barker, just off the Flaxley Road. And so we live here, and the biggest blessing is that it's got 2 buildings. So we live in one, and the other one, which is an old farmhouse, we've turned into a Wellbeing Center that we run as a venue for. Can I go into this now, Roy? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go for it. If you want to go down that path, you go for it now.
Okay. Well, I might as well, because everything I offered from the farm, unless I go to a festival or something. But mainly, this is I don't want to leave it because I love it here. It's peaceful. It's beautiful. We've got a 7-foot kangaroo that hangs around up the back, and the odd koala, lots of birds, and just heaps and heaps of trees. And it is so beautiful. Recently, someone helped us create a labyrinth. So there's a 7th circuit labyrinth now that you can walk, which is a circuit. It's kind of like a spiral, but not. You don't go in and out the same. Well, it doesn't just go in and then go out this exact same way. Kind of hard to describe. Anyway, if you haven't experienced it, contact me and come and do experience it, because it's a contemplative walk and again another way to find your own insights. So also we have the grandmother tree, which is a beautiful big old gum that my lovely partner cut a bunch of stumps for me that sit on the ground in a circle underneath. So we have ran meditations up there. People go up there and just sit and, think, contemplate, meditate, take time out. It's just a really beautiful space. So
is this leading into the Wise Woman Within area that you also do?
Well, we do go up there sometimes. That Wise Woman Within, well, I'll just finish it. Well, yes, it happens here, but I just want to say for the Farm for Wellbeing, not only do I run things here, but other people run things here. So it's a great venue. We're very inexpensive, and we're very supportive. So here you can rent the whole building for the Wellbeing Center and go up to these sites I just mentioned, or you can just rent the Hearth Room, which is a workshop room. We've had 20 people in there. Realistically, 13 if you're going to use movement, or it takes 6 yoga mats. And I'm running a listening hands therapy 2-day workshop in there in September, and I'm only going to put 4 massage tables, so 8 people, so that I don't want anyone to be crowded. Like, we want space. We're on 23 acres, for goodness sakes. Like, the last thing I want to do is try to pack people in somewhere. So and also with the Farm for Wellbeing, we have accommodation, so we can sleep 10 to 13 people plus camping. So we
is that in the place out the back that you got there that you showed me through?
Where you had your treatment, that's the Wellbeing Center, and just across the hall is the Hearth Room, which is the workshop space. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant area. I actually I love the layout of that, and I can see how that would. It's so comfortable when you're there that you just you start relaxing. You don't feel like moving out. So I might end up coming up there and staying as a full-time guest.
Okay, well, that could be tricky, but we'll work it out, okay? Well, that would be pretty good, because Mary McLeod's about to run her 3rd retreat here with her self-love miracle retreats. And it's happening in August. And so, yeah, people, they feel pretty blissed and blessed after they've been here. And it's not me, it's the trees, it's the ambience of the place. Sorry, I guess I'm in my eye, but yeah, it's a gorgeous spot. We're not schmeck, like, we're pretty raw, organic, rustic, but there's a beauty in that. People just relax as they get out of the car, because it feels like home. It feels like they've come home. Yeah.
Yeah. Have we got to the Wise Woman Within yet? Are we working up to that? We
are working up to that. Oh, and there is a Facebook page for each of these offerings.
Yeah, I'm generously putting those up once we get to them. I've gone over the farm for Wellbeing. Now, which one did you want to talk about next?
Well, would be good. Yep. Thank you,
The
Roy.
wise woman within you. There you go. That'll make people interested. I'll copy that and put it into the comments so that people can contact you on that.
Yes, this one is very hard.
Ooh, we got a bit of a glitch up there. You got a bit of rain or got that weather up there yet?
Yeah, we've had huge rain today and some big winds, for sure.
It got a bit blowy down here, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and we haven't heard anything for the last hour. So I guess we're just lucky that that's the way it's going. And Roz says trees are such great communicators. If only we'd listen.
Well, you can listen up here. You go hang out with the trees as much as you want.
You've got no choice. You've got no choice.
They call you.
It's 23 acres, and all you can hear is trees and birds. So it's great. Love it. Okay, wise woman within. I'm going to let you talk about that, and then I'm going to complain afterwards. So go for it.
Well, this is very dear to my heart because I feel emotional even thinking about it. Like, I seriously believe I wouldn't be alive today if I hadn't had the support of my women friends through my life. Raised a big family, had some real challenging times even before I raised the family. And, you know, it's a woman-to-woman support that's always really kept me buoyant. So a few years ago now, I got involved with this training, which I thought was going to be business training, which ended up being everything training. It wasn't a training. It was changing my life around. And what came out of that is my passion. And I feel it is my path because it just feels so right when I sit with women in a circle. And, you know, sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to say, but then I say something and it seems to be perfect for the field. And, you know, that's not about me. That's about when you are open. When you're open to being vulnerable with a group of people and kind of push the ego over here and open your heart up here and then see what happens. And like questions will pop in and we'll journal and answer these questions, and some magic happens in that. It's like, talk about listening, you know, with the trees, Roz. This is about listening within ourselves. You know, like if we could be like the trees, if we could put our roots down, be open to the sky, you know, allow nature to be around us, who knows what we would hear. So,
yeah.
And I have to say, I learned this work from Prasanna Diana Bonwick. Prasanna Diana Manuela, sorry, she's changed her name. And, you know, I'm indebted to her for the rest of my life because the elemental women archetypes are just incredible. I say to people, what I used to try to do in a day, I now do over 4 weeks. Like, you know, can you get that there's a bit of ease in that?
Yes, there is. It
gives form, Roy and listeners. It gives you form without being rigid. It gives you form to hold you like a cozy rug when you're struggling in life and you don't know what to do first. Have you ever done that where you're kind of standing there and you're going, I could do this, I could do that. Oh, no, I always do that. I better do that. Oh, I should do that quicker. Why hasn't that happened yet? And all of a sudden, you're in this state of stress and tension, and you've done nothing, and then you give yourself a hard time about that. Well, Wise One Within You uses guidance and self-inquiry and meditation and journaling and some movement to enable you to go within and discover your own wisdom and listen to it and trust it and take life step by step, but not all in the doing either. You know, like we learn to be with different times of the lunar cycle. There's times for reflection. There's time for doing. There's times for communication. There's times for expanding ourselves out, but there's times for going inward as well and celebrating what really works well for us and what has done its life and needs to be tossed out for a while. And none of it's forever. It's like you can try these new forms just for 5 days or that lunar cycle and just see if there's a difference, if it has helped you in some way or not. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's just really supportive, gentle work that'll help you find answers in the little corners of your mind and your being that maybe you never even thought to look before. I could go on and on and on about this. I mean, there's just so many aspects to Wise Woman Within You that I love. And I do Zoom sessions on a Thursday night. So we do every Wednesday night, but I'm taking my midwinter break. So we start back May 31st, 6:30 to 9 at night here at the farm.
May, you're a long way up from May.
Oh, sorry, July 31st. Thank you.
Got a long wait until May, I can tell you.
It is. Don't know why I said that. I'm glad you caught me, Roy.
Yeah, Freudian slip there. You want to go back in time and pick it all up again.
Which is interesting because I don't really do that. But anyway, I'll look at that later. So, yeah, July 31st, Wise Woman Within You resumes on a Wednesday night here at the farm. Pretty much every Wednesday night, but check in with me before you come. Thursday nights, we have a Zoom session for an hour and 15 minutes where you can be in your jammies with your cup of tea. And we just have a conversation like this. And there's usually a group of women, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 2, just depends. And this next cycle, which starts in...
This is about where I start to complain. I'm hearing a lot about the wise woman within, but I'm hearing a lot about women coming to these courses and women doing this and women doing that. And I'm not hearing much for the men. I mean, there's not a lot of us around, but I like to hear about the men getting their bit too.
Well, okay, there's a man that came here last Sunday, a beautiful man by the name of Rob, and he's possibly building a sweat lodge here, and he's going to be running sweat lodges at the farm. Mixed.
Well, at least, see, now it's mixed. Complain.
Okay.
All these women things that are all over the place, and I can't get any for the men. It's hard because nobody wants to tell the men anything.
Well, why don't you come and run something up here?
Would if I could, but I don't know enough about the men's stuff to know how to treat them and to offer them. And that there lies the problem. I do Reiki, I do my own healings, I do sound therapies and stuff like that. But it's not really hitting the masculine aspect of spirituality, even though it would be getting in touch with the feminine side, so to speak. Because it is really more of the feminine aspect, but there is very few aspects out there at the moment which are aimed specifically at bringing men more into the spiritual 4 domain.
Yes, I understand, and I agree to a certain extent. There's some happening. Greg Barwick's doing some beautiful work, Derek Forsyth. But you know, Roy, there's also this beautiful thing that happens when people come together and sit in circle and allow themselves to just and check in with each other, or do some Reiki with each other, or just you bring what you want to offer, and you just start. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to come to the farm. You can do that where you live, But I mean, that's how I did this. I didn't know really how I was going to start it. I just knew this was blooming good. I wanted to share it. I invited a bunch of friends to come out to the forest with me, and we've met pretty much every Wednesday since. But I hear you. But I mean, if not you, then who? Yeah, I guess you've put me on the spot. Thank you very much. I appreciate your having done that. I'm sure that there are now multiple people over the next week who are going to get in touch with me. Hello, it looks like Mary can do a men's shed. Can I do a men's shed? Yeah, that's a good thing if you're handy with your hands, or sometimes even if you're not. But it's more about the aspect of repairing stuff and keeping your hands busy rather than attacking the aspects. I use attacking very lightly in this manner. Of finding, number one, you've got to find the men who are willing to sit down and
open up to so-called feminine side, to allowing their spirituality to come to the fore. And men's circle, that's something that goes around. And unfortunately, the couple that I have been to, when it's called a men's circle, has in essence been run as a connector for men to simply talk. Nobody has actually pushed a format where, you know, we want to talk about how you interpret empathy. Do you have empathy with other people? Do you have connections with reading of other people or your guides, or can you read cards? Or there's a lot of work out there for these so-called men's circles, but they don't go for the aspects that will lead men into better spirituality.
Roy, it sounds like you have some answers there that you could share, that could, you know, could begin something.
I'd like to think so, but outside of running a broadcast, running 2 businesses and doing fairs, I'm much like yourself. I look at the calendar and go, there is not enough time. But I am going to look in the next couple of months and see if I've got a weekend free, and just see if I can get some men to come up and just sit around the campfire.
That sounds like a great place to start, Roy. You know, and if you find that date and you put it in the diary and you message a few people, then it'll grow from there. You know, like Roz is saying, your format will show itself. You don't have to have it all nutted out before you start. There's a reason why we're having this conversation.
Mary, well, we need to do a workshop at the fairs. That would be a brilliant idea, and the only problem with that is that space is always at a premium at the fairs. And when we did workshops last time, that meant that there were a number of people and facilities who missed out, and it's a balancing act, Mary. I have to look at the markets and the people that want to come and what we're offering to the public. If I thought I could get enough people to do a 10-seater, 20-seater men's workshop for an hour, I probably would. But yeah, it's about space, time, how much. I'm running the fair, I'm selling my own products. I can't do it on that day, but it's something that I will put on the burner. Let's make time. I love when people say that, let's make time. Unfortunately, as much as I'm good at many things, I have no control over time.
Roy, can I make a suggestion?
I like that one, Portner Talk. I will definitely put that on the list. I'll be flocking to get there. Yeah, Portner Talk. I like that. Thank you very much, Mary.
Can I make a suggestion, Roy?
Certainly, certainly. That's what it's all about.
In the beginning of Wise One Within You, I just gathered, you know, I think it was, well, they had to fit in my 4-wheel drive because we were going up to the tree. So there was 4 other women. That was it. And, you know, you don't have to go to the trees. But, you know, the thing is, if you go somewhere that you know that you feel comfortable with, people you feel comfortable with, and that you want to grow this, you just start it and then see, as an organic thing is, you know, how it grows. But, you know, if we start it with too big, like saying, you know, 10 to 20 men, I mean, well, my experience, that many people in a circle, it doesn't really work. Everyone gets like 1 minute to talk, you know, depending on how long the circle is. And I mean, and with the Wise Women, like I've left women's groups because it was like the same old stuff every week. And I was frustrated, and I was wondering, well, do these guys really want to shift stuff, or they just want to, you know, sit around and talk? So, you know, I think it's really good to be clear on your priorities, your intention, what's important to you and what isn't, your own guidelines. And like someone mentioned, a format. You know, it doesn't have to be strict, but it's again, it's that container that's going to hold it until the energy is going to grow, and then it's going to have a life of its own, kind of.
Yeah.
But some people will be overwhelmed by details, and some people will need details to not be overwhelmed. So, you know, it depends on what you need to begin this.
Yes, I'll have to definitely look at a port with a talk. I can see that working. You know, just a flag and a port and a fire in front of you, and just take it from there. You know, even if it's only 4 or 5 people, it's at least a quiet place and a good place to talk where they're not going to be overheard and they're not going to be too worried about whether somebody else hears them. Well, I've had my complaint. I've had my I've had my 5 minutes, so I better let you find something else to talk about.
Complaints are welcome. Anybody got any other questions? Who wants to ask something?
And it is Royal says, and then change will be inevitable through the growth and expansion. And what I'm laughing at the moment is the people that have been listening in for the last few weeks. And I don't say this to be detrimental to the people that are watching tonight, but of all the people that we have on, they're all women. It's difficult to drag men into something like this, and I don't use that as a derogatory term. You literally do have to drag them in to get them to admit that they have any sort of spiritual content within them. Me, no, I'm masculine. There is no spiritual, no. So yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, I guess it is finding something that speaks to people.
Do you find up at your women's nights and your workshops and the like that there are younger and younger people coming through?
Yeah, I've had younger, like, 18-year-olds up to 70. So there's a range of women that come. We've had mixed events too, and we've had men, like at our solstice event, there was a few men, and just thinking about the men thing, I am putting it out there that I want men to run things here. I want to balance energies on the land. Like my partner, he works really hard, and maybe down the track he'll do something, but he's a farmer, so he's more interested in showing them how to make a wicking bed than he is facilitating spiritual growth. But he's spiritual growth, right?
Strangely enough, the people that I've talked to who are on farms tend to be more spiritual than people in the city. They spend so much time within their own head that they're far more settled within themselves than they are in the city.
It's true. Yeah, I know. Sometimes when I ask him about his spirituality, and he says, "Well, I love nature," and he loves animals, So he's a very kind human being, very generous and supportive of me.
And that's his connection with the earth, with nature itself. He's managed to find that balance within himself, which a lot of men, we're too busy to do this or that, and we go out and we might plant a few potatoes, and that's our idea of being in nature. So yeah.
Well, that's a start. I mean, the thing is, in these days, we're so in our heads. A lot of people are so in their heads that.
Mary, I'm not sure who you're aiming that at. I have a friend coming over from Mildura in July, early August, and would love you to meet. Now, I'm not sure who you're aiming that at, Mary, but I'm sure that both of us would love to know. Oops, sorry, fat thumbs. I'm not sure what that means. Doesn't matter. The reason I brought up the younger people is that at the fairs and the markets that we're doing, we're finding that there's now a lot of children from around the age of 10 upwards that are showing a lot of interest in the spirituality, the earth aspects, the continuation of becoming more familiar with the nature and how to protect it, how to use it, how to be a part of it. So I just wonder whether that was sort of becoming obvious in the groups that you're running up there.
Well, I know quite a few young mums and young families. I mean, we have been involved with the Waldorf community for years, but and because of that, there's a tendency about allowing making it important that children are aware of about nature and the earth. I think the whole awareness is changing on the planet. So, and there's a different consciousness that's arising, which is very hopeful, you know, for the planet.
Do you have anything coming up that like children can take part in?
Well, no, because my stuff is, I say 18 and over because of the themes, right? You know, I don't want women holding back because they don't want to upset a younger person. I mean, some people would argue that. They say, well, you know, that it, you know, it can be talked through or whatever. But yeah, this is just what I've felt into, and that's what works best for me. I mean, I had a friend's child here today while she was having a session next door with someone. Yeah, no.
I don't know where you are, Roz, but it's not raining down where I am.
Not here either.
Poor old Roz. She must be down south or something. Oh, good heavens. What a worry.
Sorry, Roz. But I will say, I wasn't at Enlighten Adelaide this year, but I was last year, and I was part of it. And there was a beautiful woman there. I can't remember her name now, Mel. And she had a kids' corner, and she had some wonderful ideas with her daughters. And her daughters were young, but they were right in there with her, you know, face painting and having various things for children to do. And it was just beautiful to see that being incorporated into a festival. I don't know if they had it at Enlighten Adelaide again this year or not. But yeah, I thought that
we don't do it in Enlighten Adelaide. So I honestly, we didn't even go down as, oh, excuse me, as a viewer this week, this month at least. It's one of, I know, but that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't go this year. We had other stuff on, so we couldn't even go down as a person to watch or just take part in it. We were too busy doing something else. What if somebody had something that they wanted to come up there and say, all right, parents and kids can come up and do camping overnight and put on something which might enlighten them, you know, even if it was only about crystals or about nature or something like that. Would that be something that would interest your area in the retreats?
I'm open to any conversation. People just have to contact me through, you know, the pages, and you know, tell me what they're about, what they want to offer, and you know, there's certain duties of care, you know, like because we have a big header deck at the other end of the property and stuff. So I just have to be careful about that stuff. But yeah, you know, probably a day thing, you know, but then they could camp overnight for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Just the only reason the sort of jumbles in my mind, and when these things come in, I've got to speak them. Otherwise, they remain dormant and they drift away and never come back again. The reason I mention that is, again, these younger people who are coming through, they're now asking questions that I'm expecting people that are 20 and 25 to be asking. Okay. And some of them are more in tune with crystals and nature than even I am, and probably more than you are. They just seem to attune themselves so quickly. And it's in a lot of cases, I'd like to be able to say, well, if you go to X, then there's a chance that you can talk to so-and-so and you can get a background information, because I don't cover everything. I guess I'm like the proverbial man who does everything. You know, he's a master of none of them, but I know a little bit about a lot.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know, Roy, I like to say that I am, one of the main things I do is network, right? So I've got a big table in the Wellbeing Center with cards, all sorts of people, including yourself. And there's still, I gave one to someone today, by the way.
Well, thank you.
So if they are looking for something, they can contact me, and I might know somebody. I'm happy to, you know, I have this open-handed kind of thing in life, you know, like it's not all about me, you know, it flows through. So if I can help somebody find what they want, that brings me joy. or what they need, or
Okay, let's head into the retreats. People wanting to do them or retreats that you are doing.
Yeah.
You want to go into that area?
Yes, I can. Well, the retreats is also then the venue hire for the farm, which is people are running all sorts of workshops here. We have had retreats, like I said, Mary McLeod coming back to run her 3rd retreat in August, and I got my little list here actually. We have 1-day events and we have overnight retreats, and like with Mary's retreats, they come on a Friday night, they leave Sunday late afternoon. So it's it's a residential, so people they're bunk beds, but they're really sturdy, comfortable bunk beds, and there's heating and cooling and everything. So people are really comfortable. So and when they're not in the retreat, they get to go hang out with the trees and listen to the birds and maybe spot 7-foot kangaroos. So or pet the Jack Russells. We have 2 little dogs, but
how are those 2 doing? They are gorgeous dogs. I love them.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they just love all the laps that come to the farm that they get to sit on.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Right. Did you want to mention how much it is, or do you want to hold that until they contact you?
Well, I can mention it. Yeah, I mean, there's some variable factors. So basically, for a day, it's $200. That's all inclusive of the whole Wellbeing Center. If they stay overnight, there's additional fees. If they use the farm, like if they go up to the Labyrinth and Grandmother Tree, and we have a sacred women's site. Sorry, Roy. We're working on it, okay? You guys get the rest of the praise, okay? We just got one little site for just the women, okay? Yeah. And I love that, but it's just like I'm in women's business. I'm kind of funny that way. I'm an expert in being a woman, I have opinions about being a man.
Yep. That's why probably there's nothing up there for men. But we will try and work on something where no, I apologize. There is nothing that I am doing or anybody locally is doing, which is at the moment a regular event.
No, there is not on a regular event. But people, I have plenty of men clients to come and have treatments, So.
Yeah, we might mention to them a port and a talk. I'm going to make.
We do like on the fire up here, so yeah.
Yeah, I might have to make a Facebook page for that one and see how many people I get on it. Port and a talk, men's club only. Go away.
I have seen people offering gin and tonics at various events, so I guess maybe that's trying to get a different kind of market. But it's okay.
Okay, just going over, there's something about the new moon and new lunar cycle. So what's that about?
Okay. So, what's within you? It's all about the lunar cycle. So there's 5 archetypes that sit within a lunar, 28-day cycle. And it's those different archetypes that give you the form that helps you in your life. And what people, they love the work, or they're curious but can't get here, or they're curious about the work, or they can't get up here, or whatever. So I'm creating something that women will be able to use in a really easy step-by-step guide that I'm launching in August that people can experience Wise Woman Within You, in their own life, just maybe having a Skype session with me or something to go over it. But I believe in this work so strongly. I just really, it makes my heart ache when I hear what some people, men and women, experience in their life, like negative self-talk, opinions about themselves, beliefs they have, comments they make. And I think, wow, what's it like to live in that mind, and patterns that just keep being regurgitated, and they can't understand why they're stuck in life. So, and then, and I don't judge. I really try to not judge people. But, so when I say it breaks my heart, it's not that I'm judging them. It's like, I know there's a different way. And this isn't for everybody. But I'd like people to at least try it. Because if I can make a difference in a person's life, one person's life, I'm going to be thrilled. And, again, this isn't the Joan show. This is let's help another human being. Let's be of service to others, as much as we can. I'm 60. I just celebrated my 60th birthday. Yeehaw! I had 4 days of birthday. It was great. But it's like, okay, I'm an elder. I'm an elder, and I have a responsibility to those around me to guide and help where I can. And I love doing
I've
that.
actually never thought of it that way. Having reached 60 odd myself, and I use the odd because I'm a little tripped over that line, I've never actually considered myself an elder. I always associate that with somebody older than myself. It's strange how, the inner child, so to speak, is always 14 trying to get out, and you never consider yourself a master that is in any field or as an elder. And I love the fact that I'm an elder. Yep, thank you very much. I've done my time. I've got my information. Come and listen if you really want to. That's a good aspect. I love that.
Let me listen to you. I love listening to other people because, when you don't have an agenda, sometimes you hear something that they've been saying over and over and over and they haven't noticed. So if you just kind of point it out, sometimes you get this, oh my God, why am I still saying that? And then they get to make a choice. Yeah. So it's not about me teaching anyone anything of how to be. It's just shining a spotlight sometimes
on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, we got another 5 minutes, and then I need to tell people what's coming up next week. So, is there anything you would like to cover that we haven't covered that comes to mind?
I just want to say that, if anyone's curious about any of this I've spoke about tonight, please contact me through, any of the 3 pages because I'm, behind all of them. But and also, if you have, taken the time to listen tonight, I really appreciate that. And if you want to come up to Mount Barker and see me, come up and, I'll give you a really good deal on a treatment. If you want a treatment, if you want to come up and walk the Labyrinth, just come, just make a time with me and, we can do that. Or if you want to.
Let's sort of make it a bit of a challenge for these people. Whether they're watching in replay or live, give them a special word so that when they come up, you'll know that it's related to the broadcast, and then you can give them a deal. Otherwise, the word might get out, and then your influx of people, you're giving offers to anybody and everybody. So do we have something that you can, wise woman or something being the key word, mention that when you come up, and you'll then know that it's come from the broadcast.
The broadcast. Well, let's just say I keep thinking about what Roy wants to have around the fire. But if it has to be a word that they type in, then I think
no. If they come up and see you, you say, right, if you've seen this live or you've seen it in replay, you come up and see me and you say bingo, and then I know you watch the broadcast and I'll offer you a deal.
The trees listen.
There you go, people. There is the comment. If you've heard it in the replay or you've heard it in the broadcast, go up and see Joan. Say the trees, the trees that listen.
Listen.
Yeah. Say that to Joan, and she will give you a deal on the day. Outside of that, don't bother going up there. All right, just. Oh, I had to put that in there.
When are you coming back anyway? You and your wife.
Actually, probably looking at a couple of months, because this weather for me, I'm a hot weather person. I love 40 degrees and better. So this idea of being 16 degrees, I like rugs up with myself and lights the fire and says, thank you very much. I'm going to sit here until the fire goes out. So probably not for another couple of months. However, I'm trying to look for events later in the year. And now that this Port and the Talk has come up, I might have to think about doing something like that up around September, October, I think. Get that running. That sounds like a start.
Hey, are you, just quickly, are you going to the Riverland Expo?
No, we're not booked into the Riverland Expo. No, sorry.
That's okay.
It's one of those things that we keep saying we're going to be a part of. We were supposed to go down to the Barossa and do the medieval fair down there, but I believe my daughter is coming to visit around that time, so we dropped out of that for the moment. But we're much like everybody else. We put on whatever fairs that we can, and then we hit this fair and that market and some other market, and if it's available, good. If it's not, then I've missed it, and I'll catch it next year. But that's the way it goes. It's been absolutely lovely to talk to you. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and
thank you.
I'll just straighten my hair up. And look,
thank you, Roy. Thank you for your generous spirit and for doing this. Like I say to people that, you know, you really help people in healing arts. You know, you help get the word out there so that, you know, people can find those that can perhaps make their life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offer something. That's all it's about. We may do this again at another point. If you've got something special coming up, maybe give us a bell and we can either promote it or we can get you back on so that you can talk about whatever it is that you've got coming up, a special retreat or something like that. And,
well, the thing is, if people go on the Farm for Wellbeing, and you like the page, you'll see in events, our schedule of events. Everyone that runs something here, I get them to co-host with us, and so you know what's coming up and when. And there's some really amazing stuff coming up, so go check it out.
There you go.
Last part, Roy.
Yeah, last bit. I've got to let these people know that I'm still alive and I'm going to talk to somebody next week. So I might have to put you into the lobby, or you're welcome to listen in, or you are welcome to go off onto a tangent somewhere else if you so desire.
I'll be listening. Too worried.
Okay, I'm going to put you back into the lobby because that's where you've done your bit. Now go back in the lobby.
Okay.
Bye. Well, ladies and gentle chairs, that was Joan Carpenter, and as you can see, she's a wonderful woman. She does a multitude of things to help women spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And if you have not been to the Farm for Wellbeing, then take the time to go up on a weekend and just enjoy the scenery up there. Even if you don't go into the farm, the area around Flaxley is absolutely beautiful. So there's some sights up there to be seen and some people to know about. Now, next week we have Lisa Drury is coming back on. I'm going to put that up in the corner, I think. No, I'm up in the corner now. This is fun. There we go. Lisa Drury will be coming back on again. Unfortunately, the last time Lisa tried, she had no end of troubles and couldn't get on with the iPad. Things we have talked about are now in place, and Lisa will have the opportunity to come on and talk about geomancy next week. So if you missed that, tune in again next week, and Lisa will be running rapid around and trying to explain how geomancy works, the crystals involved, the layout of a table, and a number of other items. As well as that, I believe the following week we have Matthew Greenwood coming on board. Excuse me a moment. Now, I know Matthew from some fairs and markets that he's done at our fairs, and he's an excellent speaker, and he has some beautiful products in American Indian flutes and some drums that are unbelievable. I've got one of his flutes, and they are exceptional in their quality. If there's anybody out there, just quickly, because I'm always asking this question, if you have an idea that you would like to see somebody come on board that we have not had on, or a particular topic that you would like to have talked about, then please drop it into the comments before we drop off. I don't often have a chance to get back and look at this in replay. Thanks, Ross. I hope to hear from you. And please, everybody, if you have the opportunity, share. Tell your friends that it's coming up, who's on, who's doing what, when, where, and how. It's good if we can get a regular audience and people who are interested in the questions and interested in knowing more about these people. I'd also like to mention that we have a fair coming up in February next year, so if anybody's interested in that, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me. But also, during the lead up to the fairs and markets, I will be doing interviews with the people who will be at the fairs, and that's explicitly with the people going to the fairs. So you'll probably see a lot of readers, there'll be a lot of healers, and probably people who do jewelry and the like, and it'll give you an opportunity to talk to these people, find out who they are, find out what they have on to offer. Alison, if you can see that, Joan, Alison Thomas says, great information, Joan, and it's absolutely true. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about done for the night. Just please share with everybody that you can. Let them know that Lisa will be on next week and that we'll be talking about geomancy. And the week after, we will be talking to Matthew Greenwood. So anybody who has met Matthew is going to be aware of the fabulous aspect that Matthew has. He's a very intelligent man, a very well-spoken man, and I'm sure that when he comes on, it will be a very interesting conversation that goes on. And hopefully by next week, I'll have figured out what's going on with this camera of mine, and we can have a bit better display rather than this frost that's going through the camera at the moment. So, right, Monica, thank you very much. Oh, that really does my heart the world of good, and I'm sure that Joan would love it too. Thank you very much. I am going to close off, ladies and gentlemen, so please feel free to log out and leave messages or pass this on and tell people to watch it in replay, please. It's important that we get more people. Thank you very much and good night, and I will catch you with Healing 19 next week, Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m.